Good. Do meditation first. So these bells are for supposed to eliminate your desire, not the good ones, the bad ones. And the sound is supposed to pierce the air and clear the air. So that's why people use these for feng shui. They go ring them in the corners and see where something's dampening the sound, and then they know, it's interfering with your positive or your the high vibration that's supposed to be moving through your house. So then they bless the area, then they ring the bell again, and they want to see when that sound starts to resonate really clear through. And that's why some of the ones that come bless your house, they chant, or they do something that resonates, because then they can feel the feedback and see, what's happening. So when we're doing meditation, if I just say, okay, everybody quiet, stuff down all your stress, and be quiet so we can meditate, you'll put dampeners all over inside the body. So that's not meditation. It would be called repression, huh? Yeah, a joke would be called repression. So we can't do that. You have to have all your problems just right there, and you let them get cleared from your resting memory, from your conscious mind. That's this part. And this bell is tuned to the third eye, and it's tuned to the second chakra. When you look inside, they got chakra wheels inside that tell you what they're for. So the top half is a Vajra, and the Vajra is for compassion, or we all think we know what compassion is, but compassion is when you use action that is skillful and appropriate, or it's just called skillful action. But it's like doing just the right thing at the right time for the right people. Not any more, not any less. Too much might be too much. Not enough might be not enough. Maybe you're not the one that's supposed to help somebody. Maybe somebody else is. Or maybe they're supposed to help themselves. And so, the way a teacher teaches or a parent teaches, they don't always just give and give and give, because it doesn't always teach, or it doesn't always give them wisdom. But skillful action will. So that's what we call compassion. So this part of the bell reminds you, brings back that kind of wisdom that, of how we wield our compassion. And this part of the bell is a wisdom. It's the feminine part. It's the round part. And sometimes they put a ringer in here, and then it represents impermanence, because the ring doesn't last. And this one, we take the ringer out, and then we hit the bell sideways, round ways. And it will help to balance the chakras that relate, which is the second chakra and the third eye. So the one below your navel is a water element, and the one up here is element of light. So when you look at the chakra system, the shaman and the priest usually will tell you there's 4 elements, and then the 5th element is ether, or void, or something that is really non-physical. But that was for the church to keep the knowledge sacred. And when there's workers or farmers or merchant that really don't know too much about spiritual things, they're worried more about their business or their farm or their family, and not really learning a lot of language or those kind of things. The priest will say, and these elements you can understand, but the rest of the element you don't understand. So we're just going to say that's ether, or that's void, or that's something non-physical. You won't understand. And so the 5 elements that are at the bottom represent the physical world. So the physical world is where you wake up in, where you feel pain in, where you come back to, wherever you go. So wherever you decide to go in your mind, you have to come back here. So your physical body and the physical world is not just where you rest yourself or where you always come back to, but it's also the is also your it's where everything should be brought back to. Like, maybe we go meditate and we go somewhere else, and then we come back here. But all the things that we see and all the things we experience and all the knowledge we experience, if you only experience there and then you come back and you don't remember anything, then you remember that you saw it, but you don't remember, you don't remember it in any detail, then it's not any use for you. It's a nice inspiration. It's something you question for the rest of your life, but it's always something that you regret that you couldn't bring back with you. So the knowledge that you use in the world of the five element allows you to ground your energy there and then pull all the knowledge to there. So there's a lot of shamanistic rites that you have to, maybe you have to drink some herbs and you have to meditate and you go somewhere, experience something, and maybe at the time you're there, you feel like you have all knowledge in the whole universe available to you, and the whole book of everything is open, and you know every page in there. You come back and you have the ISBN number. Nobody has the book, right? That's the mistake people make, is not grounding strong enough to this world and this body that they can pull that knowledge in. And that's what makes biggest difference between a shaman and regular people. So even the priest cannot pull it back, the shaman can. So the difference between the shaman and the priest is that is their job. What they do for people in general, they're human. So they help, they organize, they support, they do everything that a human being would do, but their job is different. The priest's job is to connect God to the people, to gather the people together for support, and then to keep all the records, all the language, and all the scholarly language. So that's their only job. The rest that they do is because they're human. The shaman's job is to awaken himself, develop himself, tap into things so that they can bring that experience and share it with other people. So they reveal different types of energy, different experiences, different things for people. But their job, they have to work on themselves. The priest could work on himself, but that's not his job. So sometimes you think, oh, priest looks kind of human. The priest is human. Other times you see the shaman, they do rituals, but they do it, move energy, really move energy. And sometimes they look human, they're human. So the second chakra is for water element, and that represents your ability to adapt and adjust and to blend with the environment, with people, your relationship with everything around you, temperature, culture, environment, relationships with people, everything that you would have to dance with or adjust, or adapt or blend. And that's all from this center. So in the martial arts, when we're doing martial arts, they say you have to move from here, and the reason is that your lower body needs to really move your upper body. So to look like you're just gliding through the air, it's dependent on your lower body. Just like a car. If you get a nice car with independent wheels, all the suspension wheels, the job of those wheels is to make the car look like it's just gliding through the air, very graceful. And so your legs and your hips are meant to take you through the earth like that. So when you're moving, they say move like water from the waist down, but move from here. And that's for that reason. Physically, you learn how to do it, and then it starts to become something mental, emotional, spiritual that you learn to move through your life with. So if you can do physically, it's easier to do mentally or emotionally. But if you cannot do physically, it makes it harder to do with the other, with your higher forms of energy. So as long as you're not too clumsy, should be okay. It's gonna be too clumsy. And that depends on our fear. the amount of fear that we have inside determines how smoothly we can move through our life. So I say that your body is 90% water, the air, 70 to 90% water, body 70 to 90% water, the brain 70 to 90% water, and the earth is 70 to 90% water. So this is what we have to understand, that that's a really important center, because if you learn how to control water, you learn how to work with water, you learn how the whole world works, or your whole body works, or whole universe works. So, you'd think, why wouldn't we get training like that, right? But we do get training like that. You get 9 months of training. Each person gets 9 months of training. Free training. Go somewhere where there's no light, there's no food, no water, no sleep, and you train for 9 months, right? In your mother's womb, sitting in water. The only stimulation you get is through water. Every light, sound, vibration that comes to the water develops your nervous system, develops your brain, and awakens all of your senses. So all of your senses is actually what you feel through the water. So anything that passes through that water, any frequency, will give you your brain, right? And then at a certain point, maybe 3 months old, your brain stops taking that kind of particular stimulation to grow and to get activated, and then you start building like networks. You start building networks in your brain, but then it gets more complex. But everything that you didn't stimulate atrophies. So up to 3 months old, whatever you stimulated, you get to keep. And then the rest is going to atrophy. And then from there, you're going to make networks. You're going to make complexity in your brain. The brain is going to just turn in on itself and become more complicated. So all that training that you get for 9 months in your mother's womb, that's very important, because that's the kind of sense you're developing. So when we come outside, we think that the water's not there anymore, but the air is water, right? There's water everywhere. So we just have to lighten up a little bit. So what you felt through water, you're going to still feel through water, but it's a little lighter. And the sense that you have, maybe you have your nose or eyes or ears or those kind of senses, but your real sense is when you get a sense of something, and then you try to focus on what it smells like or what it feels like or what it sounds like, or but the original sense is just that feeling. There's only one sense. So you're actually developing one complete sense when you're in the womb. And then that sense gets divided into 5 just because somebody told you there's 5 senses. So 5 points of a star is different from having a full sphere of sense, right? So we all have that full sphere of sense. We all did the training. Yeah. So it's, even if you're born in a lab and you're in a little aquarium, you're still going to be in water. You're still going to get the training. So all that training pays off. You just have to realize where the water is. Yeah? So that's why when they say there's no space between any two people, or there's connections that we don't fully understand, those are all vibrations moving through the air. And that's what we need to understand about this. So if it gives you comfort, it lessens your fear. Any fear that we have will make us make the water clumsy. The water gets more thick, more viscous, more icy, and turns to ice. Then when we try to move, we don't move so smoothly. But it's because of the fear that we have. So to understand this center, you have to understand your fear. You have to get over your fear or feelings, why you have fear. And this is what the lower part of the bell is for. The upper part of the bell is for your third eye, is for the element of light and your intuition and what you're feeling. This is what we're talking about, what you feel or what you sense. So what we always see the truth first. So it's just that for some reason it's almost like a mirror made out of water. So water is so calm, so clear, that it can reflect the truth very clearly. So the first thing we see is the truth, your mind, your third eye, because the truth is always there. But if we have any fear, we have any worry, we have anything, we're going to project, right? And that water is going to get murky and the water is going to start moving. So we see the truth, but then we add this extra to it. That's how cable works. Anybody ever steal cable? Me neither. How cable works was they give you all the channels, and then they put another signal over that, so you can't see it. That's how our senses work too, right? So you get all the channels, and then they put another signal over that. So if you want the channels, they just take that signal away, right? So if you want the truth, all you do is you take all your fear away, all your worry, all your projection. And if you have nothing else as your foothold or as to comfort you, it's enough to know that the truth is always there. Right? So anything you want to know is always there. Everything you want to find out, anything you want to feel for, search for, it's there. But sometimes our mind plays tricks, huh? They play tricks. They make the water unclear. They stir it up. We stir it up, and the water relates to our emotions. So as good as we get, as much mastery as we get in our professions, and spiritual masters and teachers, as good as they get, their downfall is always their emotions. Like if their emotions can whip the tide of their energy upward, downward, the highest highs and the lowest lows, they're always going to be a tool of their emotions, right? The emotions is supposed to be your tool, but if the emotions control you, then you're the emotions tool. You're the tool. So that's what we have to learn how to control. That emotions get expressed when you feel them, and then they never go overboard. They never get stuffed down. They never go way out of proportion. But when we let them build, and that's when we let something build, energy build, that's when they get rotten. The emotions start to surge because there's a lot of buildup. So in the body, what develops diseases and what develops pain, we call in Chinese medicine stagnation. And stagnation is not just energy that's stuck, but a lot of energy in one area stuck, and it's moving a lot. It's just not moving from that place. So that amount of pressure and buildup we call stagnation. But some people think stagnation is just there's something there and it's not moving and it's not under any pressure, but in the body it is. So when that's released, you could see if that equal emotions, the emotions will just flare up and burn. But that would be one of our biggest weaknesses. As strong as our mind is, if it's controlled by emotion, our mind is not strong. Okay. So for meditation, we don't have to suppress anything. We just have to listen to the sound of the bell. The bell is already tuned. So people in Honolulu, they're very busy. 3 jobs, family, all kinds of things to do. When they come home, they don't know how to wind down. They go in the kitchen, open the door, refrigerator, look inside. They don't know why they open the refrigerator door. They walk into the living room, they walk back to the kitchen, look in the refrigerator, close it, open the freezer, look around. That's how they wind down. Stay there, look inside. Why am I standing in front of the refrigerator? I don't know. So they're trying to wind down. So when we meditate, we're trying to wind down. The bell is going to do it. The bell will take your mind and passively put it where it's supposed to go. All the thoughts, all the things that we worry about, they're all inside of our mind, but they're not always in our conscious mind. You have so many things in your conscious mind, you know where they are, and you know how to access them when you need. Just like a computer. You know, you put everything on the desktop, your computer's crazy. Very slow, very crazy. We put everything on the desktop, on the front screen, we're going to be crazy. Computer's going to be crazy, we're going to be crazy. But if we actually put it in a little file in My Document, we know where to get it from. We're just afraid that it might not be there when we go look. So we put it right up on the screen. That's how things should be. You have to trust that your mind is strong enough that when you want it, you can go there and get it. And that's what the meditation does. It takes everything that's important to you and it puts it away nicely somewhere where you know you can find it, but it just takes it away from your resting memory so that you're not crazy. So we know we're not crazy. We just can't prove it to anybody. So that's what we're going to do, meditation. So 3 of these bells to start, and then play this bell, and then we end with 3 bells. So you just close your eyes, relax. Yeah. So bell meditation is good because it doesn't just get the mind calm and all the energy clear and set up the third eye and the second chakra, but yeah, the harmonics will balance all the other chakras and will also make everybody run at the same frequency. It's easier to teach a class that way. So, what we talk about today is a red lightning. So there's two types of lightning. One comes from the sky and one comes from the ground. So the blue lightning is the lightning that comes from the sky. It's feminine. The lightning that comes from the ground is more masculine. It's a red lightning, and normally it's called Kundalini in Sanskrit. So it's the serpent energy that rises up from the tailbone, goes through the body, and that's the one that. That's one of the two that your emotions have to be able to handle, because that's like your amperage, right? So you have a voltage that runs through your body, but then your emotions can jump up and you could burn. So when I was learning this, I have to really learn how to control my temper. It's not easy. But when you have more energy run through your body, it feels like, and you smolder energy through your body, you burn. It feels like you singe the whole inside of your head, and you leave all this soot inside, and you may leave a whole black stain inside of your head. It takes a little while to clear out. I'm sure it doesn't feel good for anybody, but that's what can happen when you get so mad that you just you fume, huh? And those fumes will just make all this black stuff inside of your head. It's not easy to clear out. Other ways, just heat, right? Steam rising up. Our emotions, when we get upset, is controlled by the parasympathetic nervous system. It's your fight or flight. So when you have the fight activated and you want to fight, all energy rises up, especially from your liver. There's rising energy is liver energy or wood energy. So when that energy rises up, it goes to your upper body. And we feel like pointing, feel like yelling, all this energy coming up and out, pointing. Yeah, this is one of the most strongest mudra in the one of the strongest mudra. You try to touch somebody on the chest with this, wow, set them off. Yeah, when you see the mudra, you see like the thumb comes and supports all these fingers, and all the energy starts to spiral, and then it aims right out of the index finger. It's a very strong mudra. The thumb represents your kundalini, energy coming from the earth, the support coming from the earth, or your strength. So when you're looking at mudras, the thumb is the kundalini, or the earth energy, or the support system, and it might support your body, your mind, your spirit, or your heart. This also represents heaven. So, you see hippie days. The kundalinis run through the body. Free love. Okay. So all the kundalini was run through the physical body, this meditation, or the support to the physical body, or the strength to the physical body. So you see a lot of love, huh, in that time. But this is the most famous mudra you see of hippies, right? This one, Kuan Yin, you see Kuan Yin is to strengthen the mind, or to run the energy through the mind, to focus the energy through the mind. So the middle finger represents your mind. This is your spirit, your heart, heaven, also your pituitary and your pineal gland. So you're, when you make these kind of mudras like this, these are lightning mudras. This is sometimes how we hold a sword. Hold a sword this way. So to connect your mind and your spirit with the kundalini, the strength of your mind and spirit, the supporting the mind and spirit with the earth. Where the meanings are all poetic, but they all come from the fingers and the hand. If this is the mind, this is your intent, your intention. So if you connect your mind with your intent, or your mind and spirit with your intent, and then you add the grounding or the strength or the kundalini, then you get lightning mudra. So if the thumbs come off, the hand goes like this, maybe the lightning doesn't come from the ground anymore, maybe it comes from the sky. So then the blue lightning comes down, the Shakti. So blue lightning or Shakti is more feminine, it's also has more torque. So all of us can move that kind of energy, maybe just not so strong, or maybe very strong, just not have control over it. So, or sometimes it's a gift, we have some control over it, we can do things. Other times it's a burden, it just makes us go crazy. So that's usually how we're born. We're born with all these gifts we get from our ancestry, and it just drives us crazy. Sometimes overwhelming, sometimes a little too much. Sometimes we get lucky and it works in our favor. It tells us to get out of there at the right time. But most of the time, it could just be a burden. But it's the wisdom and skill that make it that way. It makes it whether it's going to be a gift or it's going to be a burden. And how we pass it to our children. If we're going to pass them a burden or we're going to pass them a gift. So it depends on the amount of wisdom and skill we have. So in Tibetan and the Indian philosophy, when you're looking at wisdom and skill, that create enlightenment. So the bell brings enlightenment because it combines wisdom with skill, skillful action. So everything requires wisdom and skill to be good at it. Yeah. So, and enlightenment is a process. So whatever you're doing, if it's an ascending spiral, you're becoming enlightened. Okay. So, the red lightning comes upward and is very much under the control of our emotions, but more than our emotions, it's under the control of our mind and under control of our breath. So if you can control your breath, it means if you can control your mind can control your breath. So we have different exercises like we sit on the ground. For example, we sit on the ground, we take a deep breath in, and you have to learn what kind of breath to take in, which is really important. And when you see what happens when you try to still your breath, you're going to try to take the best breath in possible. And once you find out how important it is, what kind of breath you take, you're going to look at your food, your water. You'll look at everything that you take in. Right? So the upper burner, the upper dantian in Qigong, this is where we take in things. What we accept in or what we cannot accept in will cause us trouble. If we have trouble accepting something, criticism, knowledge, information, food, vitamins, whatever we have trouble accepting in, we're going to have trouble in the upper dantian. In the upper dantian means something like a sacred playing field or an altar. So it's a place it's a sacred place where something sits or something happens, right? So this is what we take in. And oh no, what was I talking about? Oh. So let me see, what was I talking about? So funny. I don't even remember now.
Control your mind.
Oh.
Control your breath.
Oh, that sounds good. Wow. Okay. Okay. So we control our breath. Yeah. So we're controlling what takes in. Now our breath is everything. So when we breathe, how you breathe is different. Like if you breathe through your mouth, you see a lot of people breathe through their mouth, huh? In school, I see a lot of people breathe through their mouth. They sit, just breathe through their mouth. Kids, huh? And we tell them, close your mouth when you're sitting there. Right? But if you breathe through your mouth, the energy doesn't route through the nose or the brain or anything. It just goes straight. So there's no mind or spiritual in that breath. So we breathe through the nose. The nose passes through the pituitary and the pineal gland. It stimulates it with the air current, with the energy that we take in. And so breathing through the nose has more benefit, more nourishment to our mind, our spirit. So when we breathe through our nose, we also breathe like our ancestors. Ancestors breathe through the top of the head, through the forehead. The Egyptian, Hawaiian, Indian, Tibetan, all the priests, all the priests in all the cultures, they breathe through the forehead and the top of the head. The whales, the dolphins, they still breathe through the top of their head. They have big brains, highly developed brains, and they have telepathy, right? And they not just have telepathy, but there's no walls between any of those animals. Whatever they're feeling goes right out with what they say. So when they put out their feeling, that's everything. Everything they're feeling, it's called full disclosure. They tell you everything. So that means you can receive everything that they're saying, everything they're expressing. That's what happens when you get a full brain. You get 100% brain usage. So our breathing has to be through our nose, but also through the top of the head, in through the top of the head and out through the third eye. So in all cultures we have central channel, sun and moon channel, which is called, in Sanskrit is called Ida, Pingala, Shushuma, which is sun and moon and this great central channel, the sacred channel in the body, or the pranic channel in the body. So when we're breathing, we have to breathe through the central channel, because the central channel is the ocean of chi and blood. So all your blood and all your energy is moved or affected through that channel. And it's also the ocean of 12 meridians. So it controls all 12 meridians from that one channel. So it can control everything, but also controls your center, because it's the central channel. So that when something goes down the center of your body, it has to do with your equilibrium and your balance and your health. That's what they all mean, right? So when we do martial arts, we strike the center line to disrupt balance or health or equilibrium, homeostasis. So when your center is disrupted, that's when you get sick, or that's when you get clumsy, or that's when you get disoriental. And so we use the central channel. We use the central channel to do everything. So when you take in the breath, we could take a reckless breath, or we could take a peaceful breath, a healing breath, an angry breath. But the breath that you take in determines everything that you do from that point. How skillfully you're going to do it, how calmly, how much quality you're going to have in it. And that teaches you a lot about your mind and your emotions. You'd be surprised what your mind is like, what your emotions are like when you can't breathe, right? If you hold your breath. Some people hold their breath, they say, I can't do it. The mind just gives up. Sometimes the mind says, I can, I was thinking too much. Next time, next breath. They try again. They try to do it faster, right? But faster is not better, right? So a very reckless breath gives you reckless energy. So we try to breathe from really high up. We try to get a breath of heaven through the top of our head when we breathe in. And then we breathe out slowly, but we breathe out through the third eye. And that's how we get a very meditative breath. It doesn't just feel like that emotionally or spiritually, but you can feel it physically. So when you breathe in, you breathe in so you get the air passing through the top of the head, and you can feel your pineal gland stimulating. So there's a very strong stimulation you can get just by breathing in through the top of your head. But you'll feel it right in the pineal. Then when you breathe out, you want to feel it in the pituitary gland. and breathe out slowly. It's stimulating, but not overstimulating, because more is not better. Yeah? For growth, it's like growing a plant. You go too strong, it's like too much sun, right? Or too much water. Go kill the plant. For your own third eye, maybe it won't die permanently. Maybe it'll be out for 3 days. But it's too much stimulation. All the hormones that your brain is supporting that gland with is not able to support it if you overstimulate it. So the brain will try to grow more so that it can secrete more hormones and more chemicals to support that gland. So every time you breathe, you're going to be stimulating these glands, and your brain will be actively trying to support with the right amount of chemicals and hormones. So if you never did it before, your brain's going to have to build a support system to feed the chemicals to those glands. And so that's what the breathing does, is it starts to stimulate and make your brain grow. So we look at the Western medical symbol. The Western medical symbol has a staff in the center, and it has 2 snakes coming through, and then wings. And the staff is what we're breathing the air into. So you breathe very heavenly air through the top of your head. It goes through the central channel. That's Shushuma, right? The staff of life, the central channel. Then the energy goes upward through the sun and moon channels. That's the 2 snakes. So the 2 snakes cross at the chakra systems. So the sun and moon channels are feeding through the chakra system, and they're moving upward. But we're stimulating the heads of the snake, which is the pituitary and the pineal gland. So when you breathe in, you stimulate the head of the snake, that is the pineal, and then breathe out, you're stimulating pituitary. So you're developing this whole, the whole caduceus. The wings of the staff of life is your left and right hemisphere of your brain. Right? So in developing that left and right hemisphere, they get lighter, they get more spiritual, they get more peaceful, and they build complexity. But just like our senses, we only have one brain. We don't have 2 brains. They keep telling us we have 2 brains. You get left brain and right brain. That's what messes us up. You only have one brain. So you do the breathing, a webbing will build over the left and right hemisphere of the brain and connect the left and right hemispheres with the corpus callosum in the middle. So you'll change the mass, density, and the structure of your brain. So if you have a magnetic MRI machine, one of the military machines, you can measure all those things, if you have one. Handy, if you have one handy. So that's so maybe it's a simple breathing. We breathe in through the top of our head, we breathe out through the third eye. But how are we going to know what kind of breath we're taking, right? So we sit on the ground, cross our legs, you have your hands out. One hand touches, ring finger is going to touch the center of the palm, and the thumb will touch the middle of the middle finger. This calms the spirit and calms the mind. So your spirit with your intention, and you're bringing your mind to center, right? Centering the mind with the strength, all focused on centering the mind. So we put that in our lap. And then we want to make an electromagnetic field, but we're also we're going to still the breath. So when you're doing this, you could do this any time later, but what you do is you take a full, peaceful breath, clear breath right through the top of your head, and you let half of it out slowly. Let half of it out slowly. And then you just still your breath. If you hold your breath with pressure, it's different, but you're just going to still your breath. And then you touch your forehead and your knee, and then you snap. And each time, you touch your forehead, your heart, and you snap off of your knee, this way. 100 times, like this, while you still your breath. So one hand is moving And energy is moving in an electromagnetic field through your body and through your mind. But then you'll find out what kind of habits your mind has and what your emotions are like, because they'll start to go, hey, hey, and you're shh, shh. You're just, yeah, I'm supposed to be stilling my breath, right? So if your mind is still and your heart is still, your breath can sustain 100 counts. Yeah? So it's not how fast you go, it's just how peaceful you are when you're doing the breath. And that'll teach you a lot about what your mind does and what your heart does. So our mental strength and our emotional strength, how much we can center, you're going to find out so much about yourself just by doing this. Because you think like, wow, my breath really lasts only that long? It can't. It's felt like it could last 100 breaths. It really felt possible until I started to think, or until I started to, feel something, and I started to, my emotions started to swell or move. And it really makes you curious about yourself, like, I know I can do this. Like, what is it going to take to do this? So all it takes is taking that peaceful breath in and not letting the mind get to you, and not letting your emotions get to you. That's one way to temper your mind and your emotions, so that you really know how still that you can be inside. It helps you find a 0 point inside. And when you can do that, whatever kind of energy you want, if you want superpowers and you can't have superpower and you wonder why, when you're a kid and you want superpowers, or you want a sword, you want a gun, you want something, and your mother says, no, you're going to hurt somebody with that, right? You're probably going to hurt yourself. Then we want superpower. If we cannot handle our emotions, we're going to hurt ourselves, or we're going to hurt somebody with it. So, obviously we cannot have it. So if you prepare your mind and your heart, you can have most things. So as long as you can handle the energy that moves through, right? The gurus always, the schools always scare you and tell you need a guru to learn everything right. That, if you don't, you have to lock your arms down, and you got to lock your chin, and you have to look down or up, and you have to be prepared for when the Kundalini moves through your body. And it's going to be really scary, and you might see all your fears, and you might have to fight it, but you have to focus, and it's going to go up or down. Some say move it through your crown or your third eye. Other people say move it through your heart. But it's driven by fear. Like, oh, what if I go crazy? I don't want to go crazy, so I want to protect, or I want to route it, I want to control it, right? That amount of control doesn't do it. There's a different type of control. In the art that we do, you mentally control your energy. So, doing one of our exercises like that, it shows you that you don't resist with your body. You tune with your mind, or you refine with your mind. So even standing on our balls of our feet with our hands up, your body might go like this, right? And some people might get addicted to that. They think, oh, this is cool, and they just start jerking like this, right? Waving the arms, they start going crazy, because they feel this wave go through their body, and they're just starting to like attach to it with their body. So the body starts, bucking. But that's not the purpose, because you resist or you attach with your body, your mind is not under control of the energy. So when energy does surge through your body stronger, you'll end up slamming your head against a wall or the floor, or flipping in the air and hitting the center of the room, because you can't handle the energy. You can barely handle the energy by resisting, right? Resisting with your body when the body's bucking. When more energy goes through, it just gets worse. Now what we do with our mind is we bring the energy up to the crown chakra, and then we refine the movement just by thinking a higher frequency. So then the movements that we feel inside of the spine, we just make it a finer frequency. So then the movement is just finer. It's like this. But it takes no resistance with our body or our muscles. It just takes mental tuning. Then you add Add times this by 100 and then 100 more, you still be doing this because your mind knows how to control it. So then you teach your body how to move in coiling and uncoiling movements, in spirals. And then when your body starts to, when energy starts pouring through your body, you end up doing this beautiful spiral dance. Coiling, uncoiling, spinning, twirling, right? And you get to express that energy fully through your body and see what your spirit is made out of, because your spirit is expressing itself through these spirals. But you have to train it. You have to train your body to be able to handle that voltage. So some people think they're handling the voltage, but not really handling it well, right? Like we speak in tongues, we have Quakers, right? All the different, we have Quakers, Sufi, I got speaking in tongues called Word of Life or whatever, but it's in such high speed, or there's so much resistance there that the shaking and the twitching, they're holding it and they're resisting it because they don't know what to do with their body, right? What happens when you have so much energy running through your body you can't control it? It's called convulsions. So your body starts to hit itself, right? Because it doesn't know how to do these kind of motions like this, right? So if it can't do this, it's gonna do this. It'll hit yourself in the face. The body's gonna shake. But the body really wants to spiral. It wants to open, wants to close, wants to expand inward, wants to expand outward. But we're scared. We don't know what the body wants to do, right? So we just start twitching, shaking, or tongue starts going crazy, or we just spin. And so that's one way to express yourself when energy is moving through you, but it's not so beautiful. You can't see your full spirit expressing itself that way. So they made all these old arts were made to do that, to give you something so that you can see what gets woken up. You're not supposed to look like this when you're when something beautiful is happening to you. So it's a misconception, or it still has some fear in it, has some resistance, it has some attachment inside of the body, and the mind ends up attaching in different groups. You can see that the mind attaches to the movement and just locks into it. Sometimes it's a certain kind of movement, and they go into a trance and they just lock into that one movement. But what is it doing for them? It's not really doing that much. It takes them to some place, but it leaves them at that some place. So after a while they start to question, like, I can keep getting back here, but I'm just here. I don't know what I'm doing. And so they reach a pretty spiritual place, but they're just trapped there. And then they start to doubt themselves, and they start to question it for the rest of their life. Like, I felt something. I felt this free moving energy. I was stuck there, but I didn't go any higher. So it wasn't really spiritual. I just hit this peak, and then it plateaued there and never took me any higher. And they don't know what to think of that. They don't know, is it fake? Did somebody cheat me? Is somebody trying to trick me? Did they just take my money? But the mind attaches, right? The mind attaches. But inside, your heart knows something beautiful is supposed to come out. Beautiful feeling is supposed to come out. It can't be restrained. It can't be locked. It can't be looped. But it's supposed to be able to express itself. But it takes that physical training, right? It takes some kind of training to make it free-flowing, a free-flowing frame that can express that energy, no matter how strong it comes out. And that's every culture's riddle, is how you find that, right? So you have to master the vortexes. You have to master vortexes. To master vortexes, they say in what's called Tantra in Sanskrit. Tantra is a balance of male and female energy inside of the body. So when the male energy comes to the body, it's a driving force. So it's a flood of energy. But when the female energy comes in, it's a spiral force. Spiral force in our art is one of the most tangible but invisible energy. The most tangible, invisible energy you can feel. And if you look at an entire form or a fight or a movement, engagement, like when there's a battle, you look at it from the standpoint of centrifugal force and centripetal force, you see a whole different thing happening. You can see who's moving with those spirals and who's moving against themselves, right? Their own momentum. And where there's so many breaks in the momentum, or the momentum is like a brush that never leaves the paper, then it looks beautiful. It looks like, wow, see that guy was going to kill that other guy, the guy just moved like, it's amazing, it's beautiful. It's because they put themselves in a position that something has to happen. It's not practice, right? It's not rehearsal, it's not training. Somebody's going to kill them. So energy moves. It moves purposefully, it moves without hesitation, and then it moves in perfect spirals with no breaks in it. And that's how we should be playing or training. We don't have to be life and death to have that kind of energy, but we have to be playing. When you're playing, your emotions are moving, your mind is moving, energy is moving, and you're actually doing something. But when we say, oh, we're practicing, like when doctor says they're practicing, you get scared, right? Like, oh, haven't you got good at anything by now? Still practicing. We practice, we rehearse. So we're going through motions. But we're not looking at it like we're really doing something. So, the vocabulary of practice is not a good thing to say. So when we say training for this, or training for that, training for this, it's like we're preparing for something. And when we do something so much like by rote, by number, with no emotion, with no enjoyment, with no love, it's dead. It's mechanical. So that's why we have to play. So if you play it, every time you do it, you're playing it. Every time you're doing it, you're really doing it. And it may be right, wrong, maybe getting better each time, but the play is what makes it come alive. And that's what encourages the energy to come up and through you. And that's the important part. So how to get the energy through, one of the ways is this red lightning form. So I may have time to do the empty-handed form. Now, empty-handed form is 13 movements. The 13 movements are on a circle, on a very small circle. And to learn it, you learn it on a line. I don't know if we can catch the camera on a line or we can catch the camera on a circle, or both. We try. But 13 movements is not much. The movements use the elbows, and the reason why you use your elbows, is for martial arts, it's very close range. You get your full power coming out of your elbow. You get a lot of, it's a very big knuckle. If you have small hands, elbow is pretty big. You can line up a lot of leverage right through your elbow. It has a lot of body mass and power coming through it. And there's different ways to use your elbow. Sometimes we throw our elbow up, throw the elbow up, or swing the elbow forward, like big swings like that. And it has power. But when you take this kind of elbow like this, and you add your body to it, and you put your hand against your body, then you have your waist moving. So when your waist moves, you get a more solid strike. Then if you apply the torque and you tuck your elbow in, when you hit, it has a very solid strike to it. It's because the arc is shortened. So we're actually adding what looks like a line like this. If you add circle to it, you get more power. You go like this, your whole body is a circle, so it spirals and it adds more power. But when you tighten the torque like this, the circle spirals inward or expands inward, so you get more power and body mass at the same time. So the elbow movements help you understand about torque and about vortexes, even more than your hands. Your hands could do anything. They're too flexible. It's hard to learn things with just your hand, but elbow is easy. Yeah, comes this way, this way, this way. Yeah, all these movements they're easier to see where the circles are. When I put this on a really tight circle, it'll be a beautiful seamless form on a circle, and doesn't take that long. But every time you move your elbow like this, you move your shoulder blades, and every time you move your shoulder blades, you pulse the energy up the spine. You open the Kundalini slowly, and you can open it to the amount that you want. And then you can try, meditate, or you can try to calm or center your mind and refine the frequency, stay calm with that energy still moving through you. Then you can increase the energy. You can increase the amount that's moving through you. So this is one way to just keep increasing the Kundalini, because this heat is going to start to pour through you, and it's very tangible heat. So once you get that heat moving through, you can experience like, okay, I feel hot, this is kind of enough, and then you try to center yourself and do something that you want to keep that amount of energy moving through, but you want to stay calm. Because if it starts to uproot you, it's not good. So not good to do more if you can't even handle that. So it teaches you in proportion to yourself how much you can handle. So you think like, oh, I'm starting to feel irritated and angry. Maybe I have to calm myself down, right? So it builds your strength and your ability to handle and your awareness of that in increments. It's very easy. Okay. So the first movement, you think you can move the camera? Okay. The first movement is we have our hands out like this. So actually you're walking in a circle this way. Okay? And we're going to put it on, can I film it in a line first, even if I have to? Yeah. Okay. So first movement from here is called dragon rolls over. So that's this motion. So when we're walking, it's coming across like this. Okay? So this is the first motion. The elbow comes across, and the palm moves over the top of the head this way. And then we're stepping in, and waist is turning this way, coming across. And then to the side, the elbow moves to the side. That's the second elbow. Then it moves over, so it circles over. And then it's a back uppercut. So the front uppercut is like this, right? Back uppercut is like this. So it doesn't look like the elbow is moving upward, but you stand behind me here and go like this. My elbow's going to uppercut you right up into the abdomen, right? Plus the hand's going to hit you in the balls. So this is an uppercut. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So to get the first 4, you could do 4 like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The movement is all from the waist. So I move my hand, I don't really get that much range. It's only shoulder. So the waist has this ability to turn your whole body this way. So even though your hand's not moving, it'll look like your hand is moving. Yeah, this way. Okay, so that's 4. So you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. So from that 4th movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, you turn this way, and your hand is going to come up. We got to step forward this way. Okay, so when you're moving in like this, your hand has to go up to your ear level so that it has enough backing power. Also, your elbow has to extend outward because you're moving this energy, and it has to be routed out through your physical body. So in this motion, the energy is coming through. Your body has to support it, so you have to aim. It's like this. There, master. It's over there. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have this movement. I'll go here. 5. Yeah. 6. This way. 6 is a back elbow with a chop. Yeah. So 5 is here. 6 is an elbow first and then a chop. 7, you're bringing your elbow inward with your knee. This way. Okay? So 7 comes here. Then you step back. 8 will come over this way. And 9 will come over this way. So they turn with each other. They turn with each other like this. Okay? Still doing the 9. 10 is coming across. So you're cutting across. And then 11 is this knee and this elbow coming over. Coming over. Okay? So that's this motion. 12 is a coiling in movement and a coiling out movement. It's coiling in, coiling out. Okay? So one elbow is coming in, that's here. But then one elbow is coming out, it's here. And from here, this hand's gonna come and whip. So this hand whips out. It's gonna smack the back of, it's supposed to smack the back of somebody's head. So elbow's coming out. It hits the back of the head, and the returning elbow, a 13 elbow, comes back this way. And then you come back out into the opposite side. So you'll be on the opposite side walking in a circle. Okay. I wonder if I can get real skinny. I could probably fit it right here. So you see what it looks like, right? So I go like this. I get that 1, 2, 3, 4. Then here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, and here 12, and 13. Okay. So on a circle, can it catch about? Okay. On a circle like this, maybe I'm walking, right? And then from here, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, walking through this way. Get the clip. So slowly. Camera range, huh? The camera range. This way. 1, 2, yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13. And then I'll be walking this way. Okay? And from here, we're walking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then come out this side. And we'll be walking around the circle this way. Okay? So in the movements, you got 1 is coming across, 2 to the side, 3 over, 4 back, 5 is uppercut, 6 is a back horizontal elbow, 7 is knee elbow, 8 is double, 8, 9, 10 is sliding forward, and then 11, backward knee elbow. Okay. Oh. Let me tuck this in. Backward knee elbow. 12 is coiling in and coiling out. 13 is returning. Then you come back out of it, and you'll be walking around the circle this way. Okay. When you're doing the motions, you want to make sure that your shoulder blade is spreading. So you have to use your waist and your shoulder each time. So if the movement doesn't use your shoulder, you'll feel less heat. I already feel heat coming through. I was doing it okay. So in these movements, you gotta get that stretch. So it's important to get the stretch of the shoulder blade, stretch of the shoulder blade, stretch of the shoulder blade. Okay, so now we got time. I'll add the sword. Okay. So add the sword, and I have this kind of movement like this, right? And the sword allows your energy to move through something, to extend away outside of your body. So extend it outside your body is better for training. Here, the first one, you're gonna have this block, right? Come around 1, across, 2 to the side. Here comes the elbow to the side. 3 over. Okay. And 4, stab, back uppercut is 5. 6, back horizontal. 7, the knee and elbow. 8, 9, linking, 10 across. 11, backward knee elbow. 12, this way, coiling in and out. And then 13, coiling in and walking around the circle again. Okay. So if we're doing on a line, here, this dragon rolls over, first movement, across, and then side, circling over, back uppercut, okay, and from here, back horizontal, elbow, double, slide forward, backward knee and elbow, then this slice, coiling in, out, and then turning. Like, it's just like Three Stooges, huh? No wonder there's no films, there's no videos made on this set. Not with audio. So that's how we do the sword set. So you follow the sword set. You do the empty hand set. You can feel the sword set. Now there's a lot of heat coming through. Now it's terrible. Hope I don't get mad. So this set is a really important set. It teaches you how to control the Kundalini, teaches you how to center with it, how to be able to handle it. And then your own emotions you cannot afford to use your emotions the way that we normally use our emotion, right? It's not worth it. Because once you feel that surge come up, you think, oh, it feels good. I feel it feels really good, feels like a very spiritual energy. And then you want to ruin it. So it's just not worth it to get upset. Plus, it's going to mess you up really bad inside. So when you move with the sword, that set with the sword is it's just everything by rote. 1 and 2, 3, 4. But that becomes a very flexible, flowing, intuitive set once you do the basic movements, because you're learning the frames. So once you learn the frame, you can run all along the circle, backward, forward. You can walk any time and twist and turn out of it, because those are the alphabet. Maybe my sword hit the... Can you hear it? Yeah, maybe. Can you... when you're moving, you just have to... You have the movements that are building that pulse of energy up the spine, is building the heat. And then having a sword, it doesn't have to be a sharp sword. It has to be a tempered sword. It has to be made by a swordsmith. So it doesn't have to be pounded and folded, but it has to be carbon steel. And that will allow your energy to extend past your physical body, which will allow something called fa qi or fa shen, will allow you to gain the skill of easily wielding energy through your body and past your body. So that's what the sword is for. So the sword is to move your shen, and those exercises are called shen gong. So shen gong, you use your mind and your heart energy to wield your energy outside of your body. But our philosophy is that if you can't do it physically, you can't do it energetically. Maybe your mind thinks you can, but somebody who can do it physically and energetically will beat you. So, just to do things in order, physical first, then mental, emotional, mental, like that, spiritual. So when you have a big gap, it means you don't have a bridge that's wide enough to cover things, right? Like for us, we say we have good intuition, but on a bad day we have bad intuition, right? So if we have a way to access our intuition, which is when we're on, like we don't know why we have a good day, we just have a good day. That's a blessing, right? So by some miracle we have good intuition. Then we learn how to do certain meditation to get clear in our intuition. We have a bridge that goes from this narrow to this wide. Then we have exercises that we do, or dowsing techniques that we do. Maybe we have muscle testing, we have pendulum technique, we have another technique, we have different dowsing techniques. On a good day, we have really clear intuition. On a bad day, we don't. We have another way to access our intuition. So then we have a bridge that's this wide. On a good day, we have intuition. On a bad day, we have intuition. So it's like having a physical skill, then mental, emotional skill, mental skill, spiritual skill. We have a very wide bridge with balance all the way through. So not just sometimes intermittently, or on a good day, but this is a bad day. I would fight you, but this is a bad day for me. On a good day, I would have fought you. But I'm not good today. Today I'm lost. I'm lost. Completely lost. So that's what we say is wisdom and skill. Wisdom and skill give you a bridge this wide. On a good day you can do it, on a bad day you can do it. But when we have a gift, and it comes sometimes, but other times it's not there, it's a bridge this thin. Sometimes it's a bridge and sometimes it's not. So it's not reliable. So the same thing we say about we're developing our brain, or we're closing the gaps in our energy, we're taking all the slack out, or ironing out all the wrinkles, That way you can always depend on yourself all the time. You know what your strength is, you know what your limitations are. And you know your limitations, you know what to pass, what you need to pass, right? So, and yeah, a lot of this, is how we see knowledge and how we see people and how we see teachers and masters. Yeah. So I believe everybody has a mastery of something because they've all spent 9 months in the womb. So in their profession, they're very good, but they cannot bridge the rest, right? So they say, well, I can't do the things that you can do, but I tell them, oh, but I see you do it in your profession, right? To me, there's no difference. I see you do it in your profession, you must be able to do it physically. So some part of you understands it. So I see that, person just has to reference what their mastery is, right? And then they can do it. But that's a bridge. So that would just make me a bridge. And that's how you have to see things, is that you already mastered something, you just have to see it in everything. So when we look at teachers or masters like they're better than us, or you have to be born like that, or you need to live in Tibet to do that, or you need to live in seclusion, and you have to be trapped in a pyramid for 24 hours, or you gotta eat this funny fish that you can only catch off the coast of something, that's not it. And you can't be thinking like, oh, that's not for me, that's only for people that are special, right? Because it's all this mental garbage that is making you under something. Like, you see something that you think is good, and then you put yourself under that. And then if you try to be like that, or you look at that as your goal, you'll always be under it. So you just have to look past it. Like, that's something I'd like to do on the way to getting better than that. Yeah, like that's a good small goal to shoot for. Like, oh, I like that form, I like this philosophy, I like that way that this person can do this. That'd be a nice small goal to make. It's only like a step, right? But you have to look way past. You say, I can be better than that. I can do better than that. I can be smarter than that. I can do that way better. I can see myself do that easily. I can do better than that. So it makes you grow so that we don't limit our planet, our race, huh? You want to make everybody stay under like that, and then under like that, and under like that. You're going to de-evolve. So you have to keep passing everybody. You're like, that's a good teacher. I want to be better than him. That's I'm going to make him proud. I'll be better than him. That's a good master. I want to be better than that. That's a good small goal, right? So it's not a something like you want to beat somebody, but that you don't use that to give you a limitation. If once you place limitation on yourself, you're gonna be stuck under that all the time. So if you look past it, you could at least get to about that place, and then if you get stuck, you go, wow, we're same. Congratulations, or high five, right? I failed, I was trying to be better than you. High five. Okay. So yeah, so we do meditation to close, and then and we'll have a nice clear mind again. How much time we got? Over? No? Still good? Okay. So 3 bells. Close your eyes, relax. You have to look at this like it's a passive meditation. Like no matter how much your mind fills with thoughts or problems or whatever it focuses on, it's almost better it focuses on all these things, because harder you try to hold on to those things, it's still going to take it away. The bell is very passive. So the meditation is passive. You can't resist it because it's something that happens no matter what you do, right? It's not an active thing for yourself. So you cannot force it. It's impossible.